Flamenco fight, whether it's whoever wins the 85 tournament coming up, maybe another fight with Coop, and then those two would be explosive. Those two would be crazy explosive. So that'll be a fun fight to make.
Obviously, you still have cards for the pay-per-view. You're obviously looking to that. How is it different from your perspective? Just kind of getting things prepared. It's been a lot more than you expected. I know you kind of went through it last year. The lead up to it. Yeah. Is it just a lot more crossing the T's, dotting the I's?
It's not. Our production team is what 100. We're nearly like 120 shows into this now, so they're pretty tight. All the major difference is just it's a little bit bigger production. We have a little bit bigger lighting trust. The audience, of course, will be closer to 10,000 as opposed to kind of our typical 3,000 to 5,000 audience. And then you cut out all the commercials. Once you get through the select portion of the show for the first 2 hours, you cut all the commercials. So formatting juggles a little bit. It's just, I got such a rock solid team. My guys, operations guys, production guys, everybody they know their stuff so well. They're already working on all the features for the pay-per-view. So it's not that much different. Obviously it's a big event, it's important to us, but in the preparation it's not that much different. We do it heart and soul and everything we do. And that one we're just, you got Alvarez Channel, we got Rampage fighting Mo, and they're both healthy and they're both on an upward trend, which is awesome. We got Tito now against Flamenco, which is this crazy freak show fight, which I'm actually, as an MMA fan, I'm pretty damn excited about.
Anytime you see somebody like Tito, even if he's past it, it's still a legend. You still want to see him fight.
And the thing that I like about it is it's Tito, but he's fighting Flamenco. So even if you're of the mindset that Tito is over or Tito is done, or it equalizes the playing field. Look, when Tito walks into the cage, typically when he fights at 205, he walks into the cage at 225, 227. He's going to walk in at 227, and Flamenco's going to be 190. It's a monster difference that you're going to see. So that brings up one of those crazy, what would happen if this guy fought that guy? It's like old school UFC. I'm the sumo guy fought the karate guy. It's like it's got that weirdness factor that I just think is entertaining.
So Tito's really got nothing to lose. It's like, even the weight difference, a lot of people he's pricing would be a little bit of the favorite. He fought in a year.
Matter of fact, a lot. I love my
He's still got pressure on him to be a former UFC champion.
Yeah. Tito's got the legacy. And Flamenco's riding a 13-fight win streak and looks like one of the most dangerous middleweights in the face of the earth. It's exciting for me. As soon as Flamenco speaks much better English. It's just me and Flamenco than he does in like a public setting because it's just you always speak better. Yeah, the video. And he's like, Bjorn, I want to fight Tito. I was like, really? Yeah. And he's like, I'll beat him. Like, all right, great. And he was, from the moment he first said it, he was like, this is great. I can't wait. So it should be good.
And you had no prior indication to do that. You weren't thinking, hey, let's do Alexander Flamenco, Tito Ortiz.
I was frantically looking for 205ers, trying to figure out, okay, what's the right music for Tito? Dude hasn't fought in 2 years. Yeah. What are we going to make, and how do you make it compelling? And you can't really throw him in super deep water right away because he's been off for so long, and he had the neck issue. There were a bunch of thoughts. And then Flamenco shows up. Flamenco, when he's in the States, lives 4 miles from my office in Newport. He lives in Huntington, and he came over, and he's like, I want to fight Tito. Whoa, that's a great idea.
I wish I would have thought of that.
Yeah, and he said I'm going to put this thing out, and I've already shot it. I was like, all right, see how this all plays. And the response was, you always wait. You're like, well, how's the fan response going to be? The fan response was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it works. That'd be cool.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, pleasure.
All right, Bjorn, how are you doing this evening?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Good. And, I always like to get the facts out of the way first. So,
sure.
If you know the attendance, it looked pretty full tonight in the Mid-America Center. And, I think they seat like 8,000. So
yeah, I don't know how many it was. It was good. It wasn't obviously sold out. It's a good crowd. They made a lot of noise.
Incredible noise. Oh, the woman behind me was giving me a migraine because that's how loud it was.
Yeah, I don't know how many were there, but it was a good crowd. It was solid. I always like to see more, but I always want to see higher ratings, more butts and seats. So, but it seemed pretty solid.
Yeah, well, it's 2 straight shows in a row where I've seen a really good turnout. Mulvaney, it looked packed in there too, and this looked packed.
Great.
So
yeah.
I'd say Bellator's on a roll, but then Bellator always has been. So
yeah,
I'm not saying anything you don't know.
It's working. The ratings have been really strong. We've been, in most of the events over $1 million with our +3s, so everything seems to be working, and we keep getting shows like this with fights like this. Marcin looked great, Pitbull looked spectacular, and the Amasu fight, Gomez was better than I thought it was going to be, and Lima looked like a monster. So yeah, it's rolling.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Gomez a little bit, and he's very, very convinced the judges got that one wrong. So.
It was close. It was super close. I think it was a lot closer than Carl wanted it to be. You know, I mean, Gomez is tough. We said when we made the fight, this kid's tough as nails. He fought Koreshkov over in Russia about a year and a half ago, and he's a tough dude. Got a great chin. He brings a fight. So.
So, do you have a future opponent lined up for him? Anybody in mind? Or?
I don't know. We got to sit back and, when a guy puts on a performance like that against a guy like Amasu who's on the way back up, you just got to look at it and go, okay, how do we fit this guy in the mix? Because it was a fun fight to watch. It was exciting as could be. So we'll get him back on the show.
Was the plan all along to have the lightweight finals on the Spike TV prelims before the pay-per-view, or is that something that came together real quick?
No, that was my plan. That was the plan. I figured we would do that. As the schedule unwound, and I looked at the guys who looked like they might make it to the final, which was really at the beginning of it, my number 1 and 2 seeds were Marcin and Patricky, and they made it through. Marcin and Patricky made it through, and that's a great matchup.
It's an explosive styles match too, because you got the hitting power of Pitbull and the leg locks of Marcin. So
and Patricky's never given us much of his ground game, but he's really tough on the ground, and it's been, I think the last time he went to the ground with anybody in one of our shows was, he went to the ground a lot with Chandler, but that was defensive Chandler's wrestling, but he went tit for tat with Razor Rob, who's got really, like, people underestimated Rob's ability in jiu-jitsu. He's a wizard on the ground, and Patricky's tough on the ground, so it'll be interesting. You're right, I mean, stylistically, it's a crazy matchup, so, yeah.
That's crazy matchups all around. I mean, you were just talking a moment ago about the Tito Shlemenko fight, and that's a crazy match for hardcore MMA fans. They got to be drooling to see that.
I think so. I just, the moment when Shlemenko came into the office and he asked me about he said, I want to fight Tito. And I put this video together, and I'm going to run it right now, and literally got the video out there. My immediate response was, this is cool. Like, as a pure, just goofy MMA fan, I was like, this is a very cool fight. We haven't seen Tito in the cage for a couple years. You don't know how much is left or what's left. You don't know if the rest is going to be a huge benefit, letting him heal, or a huge detriment because he's been away that long. Like, you don't know what Tito is going to be there. And here you got this little 85er who's going to challenge him. And Shlemenko is a little 85er. I mean, Shlemenko could fight at 70 if he was willing to make the weight cut. It's just a crazy matchup. I can't wait for it. It's old school crazy matchup in MMA, and I can't wait to see it.
Well, and you hit it that, you don't know how much Tito has left, but he's obviously out to prove something. He wants to prove he's not done. So how many more fights is he going to have if he gets past Shlemenko?
Who knows? And I think the biggest issue he's got in front of him right now is Shlemenko, who's tough as nails. I don't know how many fights Tito's got left. It could be, who knows?
Well, I mean, presumably you didn't sign him for just one fight.
Oh, no. We've got a multi-fight deal with him, but how many of those fights he actually undertakes, who knows? Really, a lot of it's going to weigh on what happens with Shlemenko, so which makes this fight all the more interesting.
Of course, a lot weighs on Rampage Mo, too, because, there's that unfinished business between him and Rampage if we ever get back around to that.
Yeah, the Rampage Mo, that's just, there's so much riding on this for King Mo, so much riding on this fight. I mean, King Mo's really legacy in the game is tied to this fight, you know what I mean? He can reestablish himself as King Mo as he was when he was champion before at the prior organization, or it can be a tough run. Rampage is back, he's training, he's in really good shape. He's weighing about 235, 234 right now, which is perfect for him in terms of the right kind of camp. So it's a great fight. I can't wait to see that fight either.
Well, that was actually my next question, was no worries about Rampage making the weight for the title fight.
No. He's come in and he's actually been fine. Cranky and uncomfortable, but fine making it the last 2 times at 205. And he's having a better camp this time than he had for the first 2 fights, for the Joey fight and for the Cristiano Bruno fight. So he's got no issues making weight.
Very cool. And I had a chance to ask Douglas Lima about the best week ever. So your thoughts on the Lima family? They're just on a real roll this week.
They're having a good week. Lima family's having a good week. I said it. I think Douglas Lima is an absolute terror. I would put my money on Doug Lima against anybody in the world today. So he made some adjustments. He made some tweaks. He's a bad man, and one of the nicest, sweetest guys you'd ever want to meet. But boy, you shut that cage door behind him, he's a monster.
Were you surprised when he said that he wasn't sure that he wanted to stay at welterweight right after winning the title?
Well, I've been talking to Doug's brought that up to me a few times over the last 2 years. He's just a monster human being. Doug has the body and the frame of a 205er, and he cuts to 70. It's a very, very tough cut for him. He'll defend at 70 for us, but how long Doug Lima can hold 70 at this stage of his life, I don't know. It's a tough call. You could see the size disparity.
Right.
It looked like, and Rick Hahn's a terrific fighter and a very strong human being, on a U.S. Olympian in judo, but it looked like there were 2 weight divisions apart. Lima just towered over Hahn in every facet. So I don't know. It's going to be it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and you really don't want the situation with 2 champions vacating the title. That's obviously something that you don't want to have happen.
No, but it just, I knew going into it with Doug that he would have a limited life expectancy at 70, but hopefully we get some good defenses out of it, and then at some point he'll move up. And man, the thought of a Shlemenko Lima fight is just, that would be crazy
that could be a very exciting fight.
Yeah, it'd be a great fight.
We had some great local fights too that people didn't get to see on Spike, but your thoughts on Houston Alexander and Ryan Jensen popping the crowd with their performances?
I thought Houston fortunately got out of that first round where he got tagged and made it a great fight, and then ended up getting the win. So I'm happy for him. He's a good old school dude that's been around for a long time. I thought a lot of guys here put on great performances. Some of the guys on the .com put on great performances that we got to take another look at and figure out what to do next with them. So it was a fun night of fights.
Yeah, so are we going to see Houston and Ryan back again at a different Bellator show, or is it just something we did for tonight?
I don't know. That's something I got to bounce off Sam Kaplan and Zach Light and figure out kind of where their heads are. But of course, being here, we'd have Houston on the phone or on the show for sure.
Yeah. Well, it was actually almost 50-50 between who got the bigger reaction, Ryan or Houston.
Yeah.
They both got a monster pop.
Up,
yeah.